Oh man, this is epic! Fucking yes, my son! I can't wait to see these guys in the Annihilator.
The yellow Atomic won the heat but broke down after qualifying. Bulldog Breed. They actually won the Mayhem, but then conked out.
Ah, piss. Hey guys, I'm Anderson9132, I'm the Robot Wars Guru. I feel bad for both Atomic and Bulldog Breed, at least around the time of Series 5 anyway. Both were returning Heat finalists from Series 4 that were highly improved and looking to turn some heads. And in Robot Wars Extreme, which served as a sneak peek of what to expect in Series 5, we saw both of them boss their Mayhem battles, flipping anything in sight. I was pumped to see them in the main competition, so you can imagine how disappointed I was when I saw them both get fed to Hypnodisc rather early on. Sure, they lost in entertaining style, but I couldn't help but feel slightly flat afterwards. Atomic shouldn't have even been drawn against Hypnodisc in round 2, as they were both seeded, but whatever I guess. They were also meant to take part in the second Annihilator of Extreme after winning their Mayhem qualifiers, but sadly had to pull out due to the damage they took when fighting Hypnodisc, which was filmed around the same time. That sucks. Instead, Atomic was replaced by Hippopotamus, a plastic sandpit, whilst Bulldog Breed was replaced by Spirit of Knightmare, which was a surprisingly good performer in all honesty. The second Extreme 1 Annihilator, as far as production is concerned, was a disaster. Not only did both Atomic and Bulldog Breed pull out, but two other competitors pulled out during the episode due to damage received. Many regard it as one of the worst Annihilators in the show's history. Personally, I think it was pretty good, but that's a topic for another video. Now, one thing a lot of people have wondered is how different would the Annihilator have been had Atomic and Bulldog Breed not pulled out? Would it improve the Annihilator, or would it still be plagued by breakdowns and withdrawals? Well, let's take a look as we ask, what if Atomic and Bulldog Breed entered the Annihilator? So obviously Hippopotamus and Spirit of Knightmare would not be there, so that's a start. This means we would get a new round 1 dropout, and let's be honest with ourselves, it's pretty obvious Napalm will take the tumble here. It may have used decent shithousery to get into the Annihilator in the first place, but that shit won't fly here. For fuck's sake, it was barely working to begin with, requiring RefBot to shove it into the arena. Also, watching that fight back again, it barely moved, to the point where I feel Hippopotamus was robbed. You can clearly see Napalm was dead on one side from the word go, and was even immobile against the side wall whilst Hippopotamus was still moving. This battle could honestly go one of many ways, and all of them would result in Napalm losing. All 5 other robots could beat it effortlessly by themselves, let alone when they are all in the arena together. Sorry Dartford Girls Grammar, but there is no way in a month of Sundays that Napalm would go through here. Well, it's time for me to make everyone question my mindset, but I think Panic Attack would be next to go. This will have a lot of you scratching your heads, but it can be explained in one sentence. Panic Attack was knackered. In the actual Annihilator, Panic Attack had to withdraw due to damage done to its lifting mechanism by Steel Avenger, and even more severe damage done to its rear by Disco Inferno, which broke a motor and ruined several magnets within the robot. That was after just 2 battles. This would be that second battle. Now, I know that Panic Attack did win the second battle due to Steel Avenger being flipped over, but had that not happened, I honestly think Panic Attack would have lost this fight. It was barely working by the end and relied on Steely's death to progress. Plus, Spirit of Knightmare was the robot to KO Steel Avenger, so remove them from the equation, you could argue that Steel Avenger wouldn't get KO'd. I mean, honestly, look at how wrecked Panic Attack is here. Look how buggered its Shreemekh is. Speaking of the Shreemekh, that brings me on to my second argument. I ask all of you watching to count how many times Panic Attack successfully righted itself after being flipped. If your answer was anything higher than once, then you're wrong. Yes, it only once righted itself, in its fight against Firestorm in the Series 3 semi-finals. Every other time it failed, mainly due to the Shreemekh being so slow. So add together a slow Shreemekh, 2 powerful flippers, and a buggered Panic Attack, and what you get is Panic Attack taking an early exit. Sorry, Kim. So we've had one obvious loss and one shocker. What's next? Well, I guess one thing that did happen in the Annihilator we got was correct, because this is where I think Steel Avenger would tumble. Its high ground clearance made it an easy target for flippers, as proved many times in its career, and its Shreemekh wasn't the most reliable. Yes, it sometimes worked, but often it didn't. I can just see it getting flipped relentlessly by both Bulldog Breed and Atomic until it either can't self-right or the time runs out, upon which it would likely be eliminated by the judges. Where would Disco Inferno be during all this? Most likely doing what it did best. hanging back and getting the quick, important sniper attacks on all three robots, getting it enough damage points to sway the judges. So now we are left with 2 flippers and a big ol' spinner. Well, this is actually really tough, but I must plow on and try for all 4 of you watching. So this can go either of 3 ways for me. The first is both flippers realise they're up against a tough spinner and team up to take them out. The second is both flippers try to take the other out. After all, the flipper's greatest nemesis is another flipper. The third is Disco Inferno says fuck that and buggers one or both of them up. But which is most likely? Well, that in itself is a tough question. Disco Inferno has been shown to be weak to a good flipper, whilst Bulldog Breed and Atomic are known for their weakness to horizontal spinners. The main difference between the two is Disco Inferno's losses to flippers have still been long battles, and Disco Inferno took a while to bear down. Bulldog Breed and Atomic meanwhile were always quite quickly disposed of. Now, you could argue that Disco Inferno is no Hypnodisc, but it was still capable of doing this.
Disco Inferno and Velociraptor! Ripped apart!
And this.
And gets her it.
Oh, can't forget this.
Avenger, and right in the middle of Napalm.
Or this.
It's almost split apart.
But could 2 flippers teaming up get the job done? Perhaps, but it requires good teamwork and both robots getting close to that flywheel. And it would only take a few hits before the damage would start piling up. I'm saying Disco Inferno would probably make it to the final. So who goes out? Well, that would be Atomic. When comparing both Bulldog Breed and Atomic's battles against Hypnodisc, it's clear to see why I think this. Sure, Bulldog Breed took severe internal damage, but its outer shell was barely scathed. Meanwhile, Atomic got wrecked. Its flipper was torn off, its side panels torn apart. It was a mess. I think Disco Inferno would most likely KO them first, and thus they would lose. After that last battle summary, you might think this is a bit of a foregone conclusion. However, I do think it would be a lot less one-sided than the actual final we got. I think with no other robots in the arena, Bulldog Breed would be able to do something to Disco Inferno, as it would be able to focus solely on it. I can see Bulldog Breed starting strongly, getting underneath Disco Inferno and flipping it around the arena. However, before long, Disco Inferno would eventually start landing in hits with that flywheel, slowly but surely wearing Bulldog Breed down. It would most likely manage to take the motor out after hitting the side panel, just like Hypnodisc managed to do twice. It would be a brave, valiant effort by Bulldog Breed, but I feel Disco Inferno would just be a bit too much and win overall. So, by my logic, this Annihilator would have benefited a lot from Bulldog Breed and Atomic entering. Not only would there be no withdrawals, but there would also be some good upsets and close encounters along the way. Sure, Disco Inferno would still win, but that's not exactly a bad thing, is it? And that's it for this theory and this video. Please remember this is just my theory and not a scientific guarantee of what would happen. Do you agree with my thoughts, or do you think I'm a stupid quivering landmass of blubber? What do you think would happen if both machines made it in? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, I'm Anderson913, the Rebel Wars Guru, and I'll see you next time.